Hey everyone, and welcome to Top Thing. Today, we're going to learn about 12 shocking things that will happen by 2050. Now, let's begin. Number 1. Artificial brains. By 2045, neuroscientist Randall Kuna aims to create an artificial human brain. The concept of artificial intelligence isn't anything new. For decades, people have been fascinated by the idea that machines could have thoughts or emotions. While some find it amazing, others are terrified that we're pushing technology too far. They believe these robots may bring an end to humanity. But Kuna isn't worried about a mechanical revolution. Why? Well, because he says humans can digitally upload their brains. By merging with technology, Kuna claims humans will evolve into cybernetic organisms. Once our organic bodies die or grow old, our brains will live on through technology. In other words, Kuna may be on the brink of unlocking immortality. Now, of course, we're a long way away from that. By 2050, we'll have only taken the first big step. We'll have unraveled the mysteries of the human brain by recreating it in code. Number 2. Humans on Mars. In 2024, SpaceX plans to send their first transport ship to Mars. While NASA estimates their first mission won't launch until after 2030, Elon Musk will send a cargo ship to Mars in 2022. A manned mission will then follow 2 years later. Musk's ship is called the Interplanetary Transport System, or ITS. It's capable of carrying over 100 people out of the Earth's orbit at one time. But here's where it gets tricky. Once you get out of our planet's orbit, you have to wait for Mars to line up with Earth. This only happens once every 26 months. For example, Mars was in position on July 31st, 2018. Now that window wouldn't open again until October 6th in 2020. So people will have to live inside their ITS until the planets align. Now at that time, all the ITSs will travel to Mars and drop off their passengers. Each ITS will then relaunch from Mars and land in the exact same position on Earth. After refueling, they'll be ready to transport another 100 in no time. Now according to Musk, these missions will begin creating the first city on Mars. And if all goes as planned, over 1 million people will have settled on the red planet in the next 100 years. Number 3. Lab-grown organs. Nearly 20 people die every single day waiting for an organ transplant. Trauma and disease often require entire body parts to be replaced. But really, there just aren't enough healthy organs for everyone. Luckily, artificial organs aren't too far off. From hearts to kidneys, scientists are working to grow functioning organs that can keep people alive for decades. Lab-grown organs rely on the use of stem cells. These are unspecialized cells that can adapt to all kinds of different roles within the body. To create organs, scientists have combined stem cells with 3D printing. They use a special material called BioLink to guide the stem cells' growth. By 2050, scientists will be printing and growing synthetic organs that will save thousands of lives. Number 4. Reaching 10 billion. The UN predicts the world will reach 10 billion people by 2050. In the year 2000, the world's population was 6.1 billion. In 2015, it had increased to 7.5 billion. That's 1.4 billion more people in just 15 years. Now, if the world's growth continues at the same rate, we'll easily have crossed 10 billion by 2050. So where are all these extra people coming from? India and China have had the largest populations for some time, but India will become the most populated within the next decade. While the US is currently in third, Nigeria will likely steal our spot by 2050. Africa as a whole will account for a majority of the world's total growth, with many African countries doubling in size. Number 5. Medical chips. Within the next 10 years, medical chips will become a popular way to recognize a disease. If you get sick tomorrow, how would you know it's time to visit a hospital? You know, it can be hard to tell the difference between, say, a cold and something more serious like pneumonia. You wouldn't even know you had a dangerous and contagious disease without a doctor running a bunch of tests. This is where medical chips come in. These tiny computers will run biochemical tests within our bodies, and if they find traces of a disease, they'll tell us that it's time to go to a hospital. These chips will allow us to identify diseases immediately. This means more successful treatments and fewer fatalities. Additionally, medical chips will prevent contagious diseases from spreading, stopping epidemics before they start. Number 6. Renewable energy. A study conducted by the Department of Energy found that by the year 2050, most of the world's energy would be renewable. Technologies like wind turbines, solar panels, and hydropower plants already supply a large chunk of the world's electricity. By 2050, they'll make up over 80% of all energy. This means 80% less carbon emissions. It also decreases water usage by 50%. Now, we can't undo the damage that humanity's done to the world, but cleaner, renewable energy will keep us from making it worse. Number 7. Printed buildings. Over the next few decades, one of the oldest human practices will change forever. Construction has been pretty much the same for hundreds of years. We still build houses out of wood, and we still cut brick and stone to make walls. But in 2013, a Chinese company called Hudson used a continuous 3D printer to construct 10 houses. The walls were printed using special ink made from cement and sand. In 2016, they used the same material to print a fully functioning office building. Each of these structures only cost a few $1,000s to create, while leaving behind zero waste. The company claims this technology will advance exponentially over the next 30 years. And before you know it, we'll be printing hotels, stadiums, and even skyscrapers. Number 8. No North Pole. Thanks to global warming, the North Pole has gotten significantly smaller over the years. Since 1980, the Arctic has shrunk by over 40%. It continues to decrease by 30,000 square miles every single year. Currently, the North Pole is frozen year-round, but by 2040, it will be completely ice-free during the summer. And after another 10 years, there may not even be snow during the coldest months. So, what does this mean for the rest of the world? Well, without the North Pole, you can expect warmer oceans, unpredictable weather, and even stronger storms. Number 9. Coastal flooding. According to the IPCC, many coastal cities may be underwater sooner than you think. As the poles continue to melt, global sea levels will rise dramatically. The IPCC predicts that water levels will increase by as much as 4 feet by 2050 and 7 feet by 2090. Now, this may not seem like much at first, but consider this. In Honolulu, Hawaii, a 1-foot increase in sea level would move the coast over 100 feet inland. That means that most of the beaches, docks, and resorts would be completely flooded. Other major cities like Miami, San Diego, Boston, and New York City will likely suffer the same fate. Number 10. Increased life expectancy. In 2016, the life expectancy of the average American was 79.2 years for men and 82.9 years for women, but those numbers are expected to increase by 2050. Because of advances in technology and medicine, scientists with the MacArthur Research Network predict that the average American woman will live into their mid-90s. As per usual, men will still fall a few years behind, living to about 86. This increased life expectancy suggests there will be more people over 65 than ever before. And it also means hundreds of thousands of people are likely to live well past 100. Number 11. High-speed railways. The U.S. High-Speed Rail Association intends to revolutionize cross-country travel by 2030. They want to create high-speed rail systems that will travel coast to coast at over 220 miles per hour. But why trains? Aren't airplanes faster? Yeah, but bullet trains will take some of the burden off of the current airlines. Because planes are used for everything from 30-minute trips to international flights, the industry is struggling to keep up with such high demand. Bullet trains will relieve some of that pressure. They offer a quicker, more enjoyable option for people looking to travel between 100 and 2,000 miles. Each train will also be entirely electric, making them far more environmentally friendly. Early models of these high-speed trains do exist in certain locations, like California and New York. You can already travel from Los Angeles to San Francisco in just a few hours without ever having to step foot in an airport. And if all goes as planned, the Rail Association will have connected every major city within the next decade. Number 12. Space hotels. In 2021, a company called Orion Span will launch its Aurora space station. It's the first ever space hotel. This hotel will provide its guests with the full astronaut experience. After 3 months of training, you'll get to spend 12 days floating 200 miles above the Earth's surface. The first station will house up to 6 people, 4 guests and 2 crew members. Now, of course, it won't always be that way. Orion Span claims their station will grow significantly by adding modules called space condos. These rooms can actually be bought or leased as a form of long-term space housing. Now, as you might have guessed, this once-in-a-lifetime experience won't be cheap. The 12-day journey will cost $9.5 million per guest. The company hasn't put a price on the space condos just yet, but I think it's safe to say those will be even more expensive. Hey, thank you for watching Top Think, and be sure to subscribe because more incredible content is on the way.